All right, I did my little talk about Mandela effects and how they may point to Jesus. The little connections, the little hints, the whatnot. And I've been thinking for a little bit that I wanted to ask or put out there this question about the idea that the Mandela effects are created by some sort of black magic, some sort of ritual magic, like there's something going on, um, especially with what a lot of people believe the Bible changes, that they are somehow connected to a dark force, a satanic demon drive of, certain things, making changes in the Bible. Um, I think it's Matthew chapter 24. That's an end times chapter. You have to check me if I'm right on that one. And there's the verse that says, "When you see the abomination that causes desolation standing in the holy place," and then it says in parentheses, "Let the reader understand." Now, eschatologists for a long time would interpret that to mean a anti, some sort of antichrist type figure taking a leadership role in Jerusalem, in the temple, that sort of thing. But who knows? That holy place could be referring to the Holy Bible. It's been, all our life we've called it the Holy Bible. And now we see the lion has been replaced with a wolf who is dwelling in that place. And if the passage didn't specifically say, in parentheses, "let the reader understand," I might not associate this with Bible changes. But who knows? It could just be one of those coincidences, or it could be a double meaning. Maybe that passage had a different meaning at different times in the past, and maybe that meaning does apply for today. I know that I've seen dark forces associated with changes in reality around me, or at least I've seen the presence of these dark forces. And people would say, "Yeah, I was just hallucinating. It's all in my mind," that sort of thing. I understand that. I remember that CERN definitely tried to put out that it had something to do. I mean, the messages from CERN, and a lot of people associating Mandela effect and reality changes with CERN, have been around for a while. I mean, even back in like 2007 or 8, there was even that cartoon that was saying CERN was causing reality shifts and time travel. And I remember CERN talking about opening portals and not knowing what kind of things would come out and what kind of demons might come out. There was all this kind of weird talk. And then, of course, the Goddard Tunnel. That was just like, if you're going to create a celebration just specifically to piss off Christians everywhere, that would be it. Um, and then they had that, who knows, that little guy filming from that window upstairs, a little human sacrifice. It might have been just a big joke, but they put that out there. CERN's little happy dance, we're happy. That little video they did was full of symbolism and numbers that get all the truthers riled up. They put it out there that, or they've, it's funny how they deny or they do not acknowledge publicly that they've got anything to do with the Mandela effect, but they put all these little things out there that hint that they're aware and that they're involved. And of course, a lot of truthers say that they're not. Well, they do seem to be aware. They seem to be aware of the Mandela effect and reality changes for quite some time. Whether or not they can claim any responsibility is another question. But during CERN's opening and their little, vision, that little eyeball looking thing, or that circle at CERN that's crashing the particles, and a lot of people have associated them to creating a black magic of sorts, like a huge black magic ceremony to bring in a new, world or reality shifts or something like that. So curious where people stand on black magic, not necessarily CERN, but just the idea that black magic um, could have something to do with our reality shifting, that there's some connection there, or is it just posing, pretending to be? I know that when one of my biggest things that happened back in 2016 was seeing what I would interpret as this portal from hell. It was like this column of smoke here, just like this little image, but it was about as big as a car in diameter, and it went as far into the sky as you could see. It was a solid column of smoke coming out of the road. Nobody saw this apparently but me, because cars should have been like pulling over. Nobody experienced it. And the extreme heightened smell of sulfur around it, the stench, it was so bizarre. First, the smell hit me, and then I looked over to the left, and I saw this big column of smoke going right to the sky. And that only did add to my belief that there's some sort of black magic ritual going on. And this was during the time when the movie It, that second one by Stephen King, was coming out and popular. And that felt, I mean, that movie, everything about the time period. This would be October, Halloween time. It all felt, it had an evil feel to it, like much more than just it does like an evil movie, like a movie like that could come out now and it doesn't have the same feel to it. But back then, everything felt just extra evil. Those people were running around dressed up like clowns or clown faces, and they were standing on the corner with baseball bats. And part of me thought that's a great way to get your ass kicked, just because you're out there acting creepy. Somebody's gonna pull over and take you out. But at the same time, it felt extra evil, like there's actual demons coming from under under the ground, appearing in these suits. I mean, I know that sounds bizarre, but at the time, everything felt extra intense, extra evil for me. I don't know if anybody else had that feeling of, man, this place is dark, really dark. Reality around me felt dark. And this is during a time that I felt like evil forces were jumping into people's bodies and talking to me through them, and I'd see their faces kind of change and their eyes change. It was like, this person isn't talking to me anymore. This is this thing from underneath addressing me, and usually not in a very nice way. Never in a nice way. It was during that time that I think someone did a YouTube video, and I was gobbling up any video at all that talked about the Mandela effect. And somebody did like a very short video about this seat of forgetting and remembering. And this is the first time I had heard of it ever. And that person was trying to draw connections between this and the Mandela effect. The video got a lot of criticism and comments. And I can't say that this statue, or it's actually 4 of these rough monolith type things. I can't say that this is necessarily a connection to the Mandela effect. However, the name of it, the seat of forgetting and remembering, kind of, you can kind of make a connection there where, the Mandela effect is, publicly everybody's talking about false memories, and we who know it's more than false memories are saying, why do we have this difficulty remembering things sometimes, and other things we remember very clearly, and that it's never been this way. And it's like we're all going through this period of where we are sitting on this seat of forgetting and remembering. Another thing that bothers me about this name is I always want to call it the seat of remembering and forgetting. It just feels awkward to put the forgetting first, almost like, I don't know, like they got it wrong, or it just doesn't seem right. That's just my take on it. This image, put in the comments, what does this image create for you? What kind of feeling do you get from this? I'm just curious, at first glance, what this reminds you of and what sense of feeling you get from it. And let me see if I can find what the artist has to say about it, what feelings she was hoping to invoke out of people by this thing that she created in, I think it's Lower Falls, New York, or something like that. Okay, this is funny because whoever posted this posted it as the seat of remembering and forgetting. So that's the way I want to refer to it, not forgetting and remembering. So they posted that incorrectly, and it is not called the seat of remembering and forgetting. It's the seat of forgetting and remembering. Um, okay, so Slutsky, Adriana Slutsky, is the creator of this, and she was hoping to celebrate oneness in humanity. She hoped to encourage mutual appreciation and peace. Is that what that thing brought to your mind when you saw it? I mean, this might have been her intention, but that's opposite of what I thought. And this author of this article said, definitely, this sculpture definitely doesn't bring peace and appreciation of humanity to mind. Maybe the opposite. People trapped inside a rock, clawing to get out. Maybe this served as an inspiration for the Faceless Men. So yeah, I would agree. That is the feeling I got when I saw it. Trap is a good word. I instantly thought soul trap, like Han Solo getting trapped in that frozen carbonite in Star Wars, or this reminded me of Dante's Infernal and the Thinker statue, which is another statue that's been deeply Mandela affected. That behind the Thinker is the backdrop of these people trapped in hell, and it kind of reminded me of that. The David Icke soul trap, or the Gnostic soul trap, the whole forgetting and remembering, and all these people trapped in these monoliths, these four monoliths. It just kind of seems like it's like a reincarnation cycle trap, but that's what I instantly came to my mind. It wasn't a pleasant, loving, mutual appreciation and peace and humanity and all that. I mean, I'm sorry if Adriana wanted to convey that to me and I didn't get that out of it. When I looked at this thing, it did not give me any feeling of peace. That little cube in the center reminds me of the black cube of Saturnalia, kind of, or Satanism, or black magic, or witchcraft. The whole, in fact, she, I guess in her own words, says that this thing, if you look down at it from the top, is based on a magic circle, which is used in black magic practices and witchcraft. It's you draw this circle. If you saw the movie Practical Magic, they make that circle. Sometimes they make it out of salt or whatever. And you're supposed to be protected. It's supposed to make this invisible wall between you and the demonic entities that you're conjuring up. And gosh, these little monoliths here look like they could be pulling up hell itself all around it. I mean, am I reaching? Am I wrong in that interpretation? According to the artist, I am. This is supposed to make me feel feelings of peace and bonds with all of humanity. But I don't know. To me, this just seems like tortured souls in hell, or a trap, or they're all in a coma or something. I don't know. It's weird. Again, it's supposed to be a place where people can sit and think. It encourages mutual appreciation and peace. People can reflect, whatever. Another interesting thing to me is the date that this was placed in Lower Falls. I thought, fall of man, fall of Satan, Lower Falls, June of 2001. If you all remember, a few months after that, there was a big 2001 7-Eleven job application event, and I don't know if there's any connection there, but these pillars of smoke that came out of that event, the day that had occurred, I felt, I didn't feel, I noticed, and I'm not talking about after the fact, when I'm watching it on the TV on that day, And I don't know that I saw it when it was happening live or if I saw it in the replay, but they replayed everything a thousand times that day. When the second building, when the second one was hit, I saw these plumes of smoke coming up that looked just like a demon. I mean, it was like a demon face rising out of the top, shouting in joy. I mean, just pure joy. I don't know if joy is a good word, but excitement and happiness that all of this stuff was going down, and it seemed like it was some sort of a black magic ritual to me. That's what the whole 7-Eleven job application felt like. It was like a ritual, a black magic ritual, and this thing just happened to be placed shortly before that big event. Just a coincidence, I'm sure, but something I noticed. So just a little bit more about what a magic circle is. A magic circle is a space marked out by practitioners of some branches of ritual magic, which they generally believe will contain energy and form a sacred space, or will provide them a form of magical protection, or both. And in the description of the seat of forgetting and remembering, the layout is based on the mandala, or magic circle. This ancient symbol is believed to be conducive to Depp thought. Johnny Depp thought. I think they meant deep thought, not Johnny Depp. And there again, the theme is unity and diversity. I'm just getting creepy hell vibes from it, but whatever. I could be wrong. I guess you could say these people are at peace. They all look like they're asleep. They don't look happy. Well, the one guy on the left there, he kind of looks like he's got maybe kind of a happy smile. He's having a pleasant dream. They all look like their eyes are closed. And I read that there's over 600 like impressions of hands and faces on these things. It would be funny if it was turned out to be 666. That would be the the censure for me that this is black magic. But yeah, that's what you get to see. Now I guess a magic circle is based on the mandala, which there's nothing inherently wrong with the mandala. That's just, or the Mandelbrot, which has got a lot of fractal mandalas. Um, that's just like a symbol of the way this reality is created, mathematically and visually. Um, I got into this when I was teaching math for a little while. I kind of got into the God's ratio or golden ratio and how amazing it was to me. And it's like this, if this doesn't point to a creator, that this whole place is all manufactured, what else does? I mean, there's this pattern and this ratio that is embedded in everything, down to microbiology, all the way to galaxies, and everything's just constructed of it. And not only is everything constructed of it, but we get a sense of beauty out of it. That is, it is our sense of what is beautiful is tied to it. It's very strange. Um, it's some connection to yin and yang, four elements, I Chi, tetrax. Um, I don't think mandalas are bad. I think they're fascinating and they're beautiful. I'll show you a few that I just think are pretty stunning. I mean, this would make great wallpaper, I think. Um, if you look at the Mandelbrot set, it definitely looks like a Buddha, you know, what we imagine the Buddha image as. But they're just the repeating patterns. The you just can keep drilling down and down, and it just keeps repeating, and it's fascinating. It's really fascinating to look at this and to study it and what it all represents about our place here and reality. So it's not necessarily an evil thing, but this sculpture is based on or designed around a magic circle or mandala. Now, there's another obvious, not only just seat of forgetting and remembering is kind of a connection to um, this idea of remembering the way reality used to be, but mandala, Mandala, however you pronounce it. Sounds a lot like Mandela. That one guy that did the video all those years ago took a lot of flack for, he kept calling Mandela intentionally. I'm sure he was just trying to draw that connection in spelling and sound. But we have seen the swapping or the merging or the changing of the A and the E in words. That's been a big part of Mandela effects. The Berenstain or Berenstain bears the Encyclopedia Britannica, the A and the E that kind of joined together, and the reverse mirror image. It looks the same, and all of that. You can swap the A and the E here pretty easily and get that. So I think there's a little bit of a hint there, but maybe I'm just too full of myself this morning. But I always felt like there was just not enough attention or discussion about this crazy thing. I mean, it just, to me, it's an interesting statue, and it does not invoke in me the feelings that the author wanted. And I do see some connections to the Mandela effect just in the name and the thinker statue. To me, sitting behind that Dante's Inferno, and then this thing, it just kind of, and the whole Saturnalia cube thing. I mean, it's just all, there's a weirdness factor, and I'm curious what others might have to say about what impressions they get from this thing. And you could look more into magic. I mean, you could look more into Saturnalia when it comes to this magic circle and a place protecting. Aleister Crowley got into all this stuff, and I'm sure that LaVey, less commonly the magic cube. So that might be why you have that cube in the center. That's that black cube, Saturn's cube. You'd have to really dive into the cube, the square, the circle, the Saturn rings, all that stuff in Saturnalia. Saturnalia is like OG Satanism back in the day. That's my take on it, at least. How this all connects: pentagram, hexagram, Star of David, Seal of Solomon, ceremonial magic. So it's been put out there before that maybe some kind of thing like this is happening with changes in our reality that we're experiencing, and remembering things having been another way. And I haven't done a deep dive into this stuff, and I definitely haven't practiced anything myself. But I do know that this reality definitely is kind of weird. We definitely have seen changes in our reality, and trying to come up with the explanation of what is bringing those changes has been a topic of discussion for some time. And I always felt like that statue, or the seat of forgetting and remembering, never got quite enough attention. So this is my way of just bringing it up and seeing what comments are out there. Share this idea, see what others have to say. Put it in comments. Let me know what your feedback is. Do you think the mandalas are beautiful mathematical symbols of reality? If the mandala is a symbol or representation of a reality, what does that symbol mean? What is the hint behind our existence that is coming from this thing? I don't know. This looks like it should be wallpaper in a jewelry store. But anyway, hope you all have a good day. Like to hear your feedback on this one, and see what kind of insights are out there. And if anybody's got time to really read up on it further, let me know. That's all I got for today. Hope you're having a great week, and God bless.